Fucking wrestling is back, dude. It's fucking back. It's better than ever. And fucking AEW has fucking WWE shaking. Shaking, dude. That was one of the best fucking wrestling pay-per-views I have ever seen in a very fucking long time. First, you had the fucking Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros, who just fucking put on one of the greatest tag team matches ever, in my eyes. Just fucking... there was never a low point until the point where they were fucking all unconscious on the floor, fucking leaking blood from their heads.
Yeah.
From that fucking Nike shoe covered in thumbtacks.
From the bottom.
From the fucking bottom. And then you had the fucking Miro match. That was a good one. They just never fucking swung and missed on any of the matches. And at the very fucking end, I fucking wish I would have been watching with a wrestling fan. Like, I wish... Like, you know who I would have loved to watch that pay-per-view with? Our cousin Andrew. Fucking dude. When the lights went off, all I could think about was, who is it? Who is it? And then out of the fucking blue, you just hear, and then fucking Adam Cole Bebe comes up on the fucking Titantron. I lost it, dude. He could vouch for me. He fucking heard me. I was fucking screaming, dude. Holy shit, Adam fucking Cole's AEW. Holy shit. And then he comes out. He obviously, I saw it coming. He was going to pretend to fucking fight the Elite. And then he goes, I'm back, baby. And the fucking Young Bucks kiss him like they did before he left to WWE. I was like, fuck yeah, fucking Adam Cole's back. Let's go. What a great pay-per-view, man. And then fucking Daniel Bryan comes out. I'm like, oh, shit. Or I got to start calling him Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
The American Dragon. Fucking, I lost my shit. Fucking Bryan Danielson and fucking Adam Cole on the same night. Holy shit. And then fucking Bryan Danielson comes out, beats the shit out of the fucking Elite, and then cuts a fucking pretty great promo afterwards, talks about why he left the other brand, and then just saying, like, AEW, let's fucking go. I was like, holy shit. It's like he's hasn't said fucking 15 years, dude. Like, you could tell he was like, oh, I could finally fucking curse now. Like, I could be my fucking self. I don't have to work for this Disney Channel brand anymore.
That's a good way of putting it.
Right.
The Disney Channel brand.
Right, because it genuinely is. Like, it was, the matches were so intense and so fucking fire that, like, my youngest, my young brother, the second youngest, was like, dude, this is gruesome. Like, I can't really watch, like, it's kind of gruesome.
Yeah.
He had fucking seen Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, like, the fucking days prior. So, like, the fucking matches were intense. We got Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, and Ruby Soho on the same fucking night. Ruby Soho is formerly known as Ruby Riott. She was a part of the Riott Squad on WWE. She's fucking dope. Britt Baker and that one chick fucking put on a good match. John Moxley put on a good... That whole fucking pay-per-view, top to bottom, was fucking damn near perfect. CM Punk versus Darby Allin, like, it's like, that's gonna be like a fucking AEW classic. Like, that was a good fucking match. I just wish that match would have been no DQ.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Because
they could have done so much more shit. And, like, that was my dad's first taste at watching Darby Allin wrestle. That dude, like, takes fucking extreme bumps.
Yeah.
Like, when he threw him to the turnbuckle and he fucking, like, swung out of the fucking ring, you're like, oh, shit. Like, he could have gotten, paralyzed from that shit. Yeah. Like, Darby Allin don't give a fuck, dude. He don't give a fuck. I wish I would have been watching that fucking pay-per-view with our fucking cousins from the 2 episodes ago and fucking Andrew, because we would have been fucking screaming all night, dude. Those fucking matches were fire. And then, yeah, it brought me back into wrestling. Like, I'm watching it every Wednesday now. I don't really watch the Rampages. I think I might start watching Rampage.
Is that like their version of Monday Night Raw?
Right, yeah, kind of. It's like the little mini show on Fridays. But I'm watching every Wednesday. Fucking, it's AEW Day on Wednesdays. I need to start watching them on Fridays. But the fucking Dynamite after was so fucking fire, dude. Adam Cole comes out, cuts a fucking fire promo just about being back and how fucking AEW's the best brand in the world and Kenny Omega's the greatest wrestler in the world. And then Kenny Omega and fucking Bryan Danielson had a standoff. Fucking, this is how cool Kenny Omega is. He has the Young Bucks, the fucking, the Old Brothers or whatever the fuck they're called. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I don't know what I don't know who they're called now. What they're called now, but that's what they used to be called. He had the Young Bucks. He had those two. He had fucking Adam Cole, and like some manager fucker or whatever. He had all those guys in the ring. But when Bryan Danielson came out, he was like, "All of you, leave the ring. Leave the ring. I got this." And they left to the back of the ring. And he's like, "Come on, Bryan, don't be scared." And then fucking him and Bryan had the ring to themselves, and they were just like, they had a fucking dope, like they cut a fucking dope promo. And then they just had a dope standoff. And I remember watching it just being like, I can't fucking believe Kenny Omega is standing right in front of fucking Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan. Like, I can't fucking believe I'm watching this right now. It was one of those moments where you're like, fuck yeah! You know, you're just like, when you think of dream matches, you were like, God, it would be cool if Daniel Bryan and, like, Kenny Omega wrestled, dude. You know, like when Daniel was having his run, you're just like, God, that would be fucking cool, you know? And then you see them in the ring together, you're just like, fuck yeah, man. Fucking Kenny Omega, arguably in his prime, the greatest wrestler in the world for sure. Undisputably the best wrestler in the fucking world. He had an amazing match against Christian Cage at All Out. That match was fucking fire. Every match on that fucking show was fire. The MJF versus fucking Chris Jericho one was pretty fucking lit. There was like so many moments where we were like, oh shit, you know, just throughout the entire fucking show, I was on the edge of my fucking feet. Yeah, I wish I would have been watching that with somebody, dude, because that shit was so fucking fun to watch. It got me back into wrestling, and then the shows after fucking the pay-per-view didn't disappoint. Fucking wrestling's back, dude. And fucking WWE is fucking... I don't know what they're thinking back there, but it can't be good, you know?
Yeah, I think that's why they signed Gable Stevenson. You know,
right.
Trying to use his name and the hype coming with them to try and bring something. But it all depends on the storytelling, and they're known for ruining people. So
right, and yeah, we had mentioned on another podcast, and you had said if that's true, then that'd be fucking fire, and it'd probably be why AEW would be the best. And I confirmed it to you like a week later that it was the case when we had mentioned that if AEW's allowing their wrestlers to create their own characters and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like a great idea and be fucking amazing for them. And I saw in an interview Darby Allin was like, yeah, like whatever I wanted to be, like whatever I wanted to do, like they were like, do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it. Like don't ask us, like do what you want. And like he was like, to have that platform to be like, I could do whatever I want. And I could do it on fucking TV. Like I could do whatever I want. Like, and they would be okay with it.
There's also added pressure though, because if you think it's a great idea and it doesn't sell, you kind of have your destiny in your hands. If you create a shitty character, then you're kind of fucked because that was all you had. You know?
Right, but it's more
one
original.
Thing I will say about Darby Allin too is thank God he's got a great makeup artist, or he does great makeup. Because when that shit comes off, he's a weird, dorky looking motherfucker, dude. But when you see him with face paint and everything, you're like, damn, this dude's fucking bad.
Yeah,
and then it comes off, and you're like, guy's fucking dork, you know?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite wrestlers for sure.
Yeah, he did really well. I thought it was really cool too, that you pointed out, is that when Bryan Danielson came out, they let him keep that music. That was pretty fucking cool.
So what I liked was that they kept the music, technically, the beginning part at least.
Yeah.
And then just fucking spin the rest of the song. So it's kind of like, you know, like when that music came on, everybody knew it was Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
and it keeps that mystique.
Yeah.
I need to stop calling him Daniel Bryan. Like his real name is Bryan Danielson.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna take.
It's gonna be hard. Yeah. But it's like when the and you commented on it when the fucking beat came in, he was like, you're like, oh shit, he's gonna come out like a fucking thug.
Yeah.
Fucking goated, man. He comes out all fucking crowds on their feet. Like I've never like what makes wrestling great are the fucking crowds. You know, I think that what makes
Crowd
all
interaction.
sports great is the crowds.
Yeah. 100%.
Like when watching Call of Duty without the crowd, like if I were to introduce someone to Call of Duty and I showed them a game without the crowd, they'd be like, well. But when you have a fucking, like when they play in London, for an example, if I showed you a match where they were playing in London, you'd be like, this is fucking lit. I'm maybe a little confused at what's going on, but like this crowd and what's going on the stage is fucking lit. And so like that's the same thing with all sports. Like football is fucking fun to watch.
Yeah.
But when someone scores a fucking game-winning touchdown, it's not as special of a moment when you don't hear the fucking
the
crowd,
roar of the crowd.
The roar of the crowd, right? And that is one thing AEW has by a large margin over WWE is the fucking crowds are so into every single story and every single match.
Because they have the shock and awe factor, and WWE doesn't have that. They have we got to be careful, you know?
Right.
And because they're not careful in AEW, like when that stuff happens, it's like I said, the shock and awe. You're like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
So then you get more into it. Like I can't believe that just happened. Right. I just seen it, you know.
Yeah, like in WWE, they would probably yell at you if you did some of the moves that fucking Darby Allin does. Like they would yell at you and be like, hey, don't do that again.
Yeah.
But in AEW, they're like, dude, you want to pile driver somebody through fucking glass shards on a fucking table that's engulfed in flames? Go for it.
Yeah.
And then so like that's one thing that like they have that too, like the blood and gore, like the Attitude Era shit with the matches. And like when he brought out the fucking Nike shoe with the fucking thumbtacks on the bottom, I remember just being like, oh shit.
What was cool about that shoe
you're all
too
excited.
Is it wasn't like a bootleg. Like it was well crafted. Like
yes.
It wasn't like just random ones here and there. Like that shit was like in a perfect line of thumbtacks. Like it was like a fucking legit made thumbtack shoe. Like it was fucking badass, and it was not a shitty shoe too. Like it was a pretty fancy name brand shoe too.
Right, and you can't really have gory matches with fucking like luchador wrestlers or guys with masks, but they somehow managed to make it a gory fucking blood fest with the Lucha Brothers because they like ripped the side of their masks open, so all you could see was like half of their face just covered in blood, and you're just like, holy shit, this is fucking raw, dude.
I kind of like that part too, where they brought that shoe out and they were about to fuck up the little brother, and the older brother of the Lucha Bros ran and like jumped in front of him to take the fucking kick to the face for him.
Yeah,
with the spikes. I thought that was kind of cool.
Because what that did was it furthered them as the baby faces too during the match. Because you just want to root. It made you root for them even more. When he was like, when they looked fucking vulnerable and he took the fucking boot to the face for his younger brother. And then they end up winning in the end. Like throughout that, from that point on, you might have been like unbiased. Like, oh, like for me at least, when I was watching, I was like, I don't care who fucking wins. Like I just want to see them do fucking somersault power bombs on each other.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. But like halfway when that part happened, it made you want to cheer for the fucking Lucha Bros. And then when they won, it made the win so much more exciting than it would have been had you been like, I don't care who wins.
And then just to be on the other side, the only negative thing I didn't like about that cage match, and it's something stupid. It's not a legit complaint, but I wish it was different, is how close the cage was to the ring. Because when they were doing shit outside the ropes, they were like in a small confined area trying to do a move, where in the WWE you have like actually the outside that you could actually work with, and I just felt like it was just too small.
Oh, so what you're saying is that you wish it would have rather been a Hell in a Cell match?
Yeah, because the cage was just so close, and they were trying to do shit outside the ropes, and it was just really thin, and it just kind of looked weird.
Yeah,
like they were trying to force something into a little area. And I thought it was cool too when each person had the other partner, and they're about to like do like a power driver, and they're like looking at each other like about to power drive the other guy's partner.
Yeah,
and they looked at each other for a second, and then they both fucking did it.
Yeah, that was pretty fuck cool. It, yeah. And then I showed you that thing about Penta, the older brother with he had like the luchador mask, and then under it he has like the skull paint.
Yeah. Which
he's the fucking coolest. He looks so fucking cool, and he's just like this big brute fucking luchador wrestler. The reason why he chose the name Penta, I think it was Penta is short for Pentagon, something like that. regardless, their catchphrase, the Lucha Bros catchphrase, I'm not gonna even try to pronounce it because people are gonna be like, "You fake Mexican, fucking pussy, learn your fucking Spanish, dickhead." But that thing that translates to zero fear in Spanish.
Yeah.
He came up with that phrase, coming up in the Indies because the name Penta, or the name Pentagon or whatever it's short for, is like cursed in wrestling. Like everybody who's had the name has had something really bad happen to them. So when he got that phrase zero fear in Spanish, it was like zero fear for like the name of what might come. Like he just has zero fear. He doesn't give a fuck, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care what curses come with this thing.
He's not gonna let it win.
Right, and he's gonna just go in it with zero fear and do it, follow his dreams.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes him fucking cool. On top of like the way he looks, because I will always be a major fan of the Lucha Bros fucking ring gear, just like the Young Bucks. They always come out with something cool looking in their matches. And it's just like, I feel like the difference with AEW versus WWE, I know we've been talking about this discussion a lot, but I'm really just enjoy shitting on fucking WWE of how fucking garbage their brand is. But like the fucking, not only the characters in AEW so original because they're allowing these wrestlers to come up with their own shit,
yeah,
but they have more personality.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like in WWE, it like even if the AEW shit is scripted, with the WWE shit, it feels like you're watching a skit rather than like.
Because when it's your idea, it's easier for you to sell it than where WWE.
Someone else's idea.
Yeah, you're trying to sell someone else's idea of me, you know? And
right.
Then it is acting.
Right.
I'm acting what you're telling me to try instead of, hey, this is what I think and how I feel I am.
Right.
You know? It's easier that way, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's easier to sell because it's their characters. And I told you how fucking I'm sick and tired of that reuse shit that they always do. Like, with your own personality, like you said, you could come up. It feels more you. And so you could, like, flow off the tongue a little bit more. And also, they allow cussing in AEW.
Yeah.
So you hear fucking bitch and shit. Maybe not fuck, but you hear bitch and shit without blurs and censorship. Like, they fully allow it. So they'll cut promos and they'll be like, CM Punk, if you don't pipe down, I'm going to have my man beat the horse shit out of you. And you're just like, oh, hell yeah. And, like, watching that, like, it shocked me because I didn't expect it, but it was, like, a breath of fresh air because you're just like, hell yeah, like, I'm so happy to hear fucking bitch and shit on TV again.
It makes it more real.
Yeah, right? And it makes them more believable.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's what also makes WWE feel so scripted, is because they're so censored and they're always trying to please the younger fan bases. So that's why they'll always do the same reused, you're a bully, and you know what I do to bullies, you know, type of shit. Because, you know, they have kids watching, and they're trying to encourage them to stand up to their bullies or whatever. But it's like, it's such a reused thing.
Yeah, they
like,
reuse a lot in WWE.
Right, like, we grew up, like, nobody wants to look up to that guy.
Yeah.
Who's saying he beats up his bullies. We look up to the fucking Stone Cold Steve Austins that came into the ring, threw up middle fingers, and fucking stunnered 15 people in the ring before.
Badasses.
Yeah, like, we want to see, like, fucking badasses. You know what I mean? And, like...
It's wrestling. It's a contact sport. It's not, like, we're not watching... It's like watching pro football and flag football. Like, I get it. They're both fun, but one of them's not as fun. It's, like, protected.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's fucking wrestling, dude. We're not fucking out here playing fucking grab ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're in there. I know it's like a scripted show. It's entertainment. I get it. But they're not in there, like, trying to fucking choreograph a dance move. They're fucking fighting.
Right.
And if you're going to sell that, it has to be real.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be... In fights, people get busted up. In fights, people get mad and say, fuck you. You know what I mean? I know they don't really say that, but they're like, you know, I'll beat the shit out of you.
Right.
But, like, it's not believable when it's like, you're a bully.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like,
let's fight for the title, and I could prove to you that no bullies stand a chance in this ring. You're just like, what? And it's just like, and then I sent you that report that the reason why Adam Cole left. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
About how he was gonna go to SmackDown, but they wanted to change his name and turn him into a manager to manage Keith Lee. One of the best fucking wrestlers in the world. A former multi-fucking time NXT champ the one of literally the best fucking wrestlers who ever lived, Adam Cole, in his prime, hasn't skipped a beat, had just previously put on a 5-star fucking match, a 2 out of 3 falls match or whatever the fuck it was called, where they have multiple matches in one. Do you know that? Where like, yeah, like he put on one of those matches, put on a fucking 5-star. He's in his prime, and you wanted to bring him over to SmackDown to manage Keith Lee?
And it's not like he had an injury or he wasn't as getting too old. Like, that's what I talk about with WWE. They ruin people.
They fucking ruin people. Why would you do that to Adam Cole?
It's almost like they play favorites.
Yeah.
You know, they want their people. And if they see someone getting too good, they're like, hey, we got to tone this guy down so we could push our guy because we like this guy better because he's an ass kisser or whatever the fuck it is, you know?
Right.
And they ruin people and they're ruining the sport.
You know what I think it is? I think Vince just has – I think it's Vince's ego.
Yeah.
Because he took back control of NXT.
Well, they had that thing with Triple H.
Well, yeah, but like he's not giving that shit back to H. I doubt it. Like he's going to run NXT to the ground. And I think that was a little before, actually. I don't know what the timestamp on that was.
Well, I think they already knew that they're going to have that surgery. That's why they were planning on it.
I think he had the surgery because he had that heart problem.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they kind of knew. That's why they did the whole change that he'd be out for a while. I think he'll be back. I think they're putting him in line because they've given him, for him not being a blood relative, they have given Triple H a lot of control. Like, even him giving him one of the brands. It's pretty big. You would think it would stay between Shane and Stephanie. Well, but I think Stephanie stays involved, but I think Shane handles more of the business side and the financials. And every now and then we get a Shane O'Mac match. Mm-hmm. But I think he and what's the wife's name?
Stephanie.
No, the wife.
Of who?
Of Vince.
I didn't even know he had a fucking wife. I thought.
Yeah, she's always out there. We were just watching that highlight the other day where Triple H saved her when a fan was trying to come out there and attack her. She's out there a lot.
I wasn't there for that part of the video. I saw fucking Triple H save Stone Cold. That was fucking nuts.
I can't. Why am I fucking drawing a blank on her name? She's out there a lot. But anyways, I'll remember it probably randomly throughout the show. But I think her and like Shane handle more of the business side. He probably gets like the brains and the money side from her, and then Stephanie and Vince have more of the
wrestling,
the creative side of it. And I think adding Triple H into it is what they're doing. Pretty much what I'm saying. Fucking this shit up right here. You have to edit this whole fucking 2-3 minutes out. Is I think the fact that they give him some kind of creative input means that he's gonna have a major part of the future when Vince does go. No,
I think it'll be handed to him.
Yeah, hopefully.
But no, I think my point is still valid, regardless of what the timestamp was or what had happened with H. I think because with every fucking wrestler in NXT. You could tell when he was just bringing someone up just to fucking ruin them. You know, like embarrassingly. Like Karrion Kross is one of those guys. Like he was built up as this fucking larger than life phenom, Brock Lesnar, like Roman Reigns-esque figure, beating the horse shit out of everybody. Samoa Joe beats him. He gets brought up to the main roster, has this weird fucking sex lingerie demolition looking outfit, and he fucking loses to like who was he losing to? On the main roster, like some fucking like nobody that should beat him, and like they did that with him. You could tell when Vince liked people. Like he gave Finn Balor a shot, and is giving Finn Balor a shot now. Demon Finn Balor's back. Woo woo, let's go, fucking Demon Finn Balor.
He needs to go to AEW.
Yeah.
That's where he'll be great again.
Yeah.
And it's Linda McMahon. That's who it was.
Linda McMahon, got it. Such an old lady name.
Yeah. She looks like a typical old white lady.
Fucking Karen.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does.
Just looks like she fucking argues about her rights and shit.
Yeah.
I wear my fucking mask when I want to, bitch. You know, one of those people.
My fake teeth are my mask.
I can't breathe in this thing. But yeah, I think you could tell that he just doesn't really treat NXT with much respect sometimes. Like you could tell when he's liked somebody and when he hasn't. Like with Finn Balor, you could tell he liked him. You could tell he liked Kevin Owens.
It could be, like you were saying earlier, an ego thing where the fact that maybe he felt like NXT was getting too much hype and he didn't have any input and he got mad about that.
Right.
Like, fuck, man. I don't want people to think it's because I'm not taking control. I could still make things great, you know?
I think that's also a thing too, because Vince is hearing all the people say like,
Yeah.
oh, he's fucking ruining the Raw and SmackDown brand. He's fucking horse shit.
Vince McMahon, you're rugged.
Hey, I want to see you in the major leagues, fucking guy. Fucking Evan Longoria. Fuck Evan Longoria.
You're funny.
Also, shout outs to my fucking Gabe, for putting on an all-time classic Stuck in the Elevator episode and buying this fucking microphone that you're listening to right now. This episode's going to sound fucking beautiful, and it's going to be because of that guy. Thank you. We love you. Put on one of the all-time greatest fucking episodes, and this fucking mic.
Hilarious.
When I got this mic, it was like a fucking... I don't know. Like, it felt like Christmas, dude. This is the shit I get excited about. I'm a fucking loser. This is the shit I get excited about. All right? Fucking microphones.
Dude, that episode was fucking legit.
Yeah, it was so good, man.
I think there's a lot of great things happening right now for the podcast. We just had one of our best episodes, like X was saying, and then now X is putting out this fucking awesome content with fantasy football.
Yeah,
and we got this little shit talking going, just these little videos popping up with our own personal league that we got going on. So it's like good things going on right now. Like for our 20 core listeners, thank you, and we got some shit coming for you.
Yeah, facts. It's gonna be fucking fun, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't wait to get big enough to where we start selling merch.
Yeah.
Because there's so many fucking merchandise opportunities with all the different shit we've come up with.
Yeah.
The fucking Hulk Blogan t-shirt.
You know how we're talking about Lord of the Rings, we should get how the Hand of Saruman. They should get a Hulk Hogan with the fucking Hand of McMahon, like the fucking white thing right there.
We could do so much shit. But yeah, wrestling's fucking back. AEW over WWE. Fucking WWE shaking over there, ruining wrestlers and shit like they always do. I can't fucking believe they were gonna make Adam Cole a fucking manager. That's unfucking believable. And I'm glad he went to AEW where he's gonna fucking literally wrestle on.
Good for him for
Wednesday,
signing up for his career.
Right.
You're
right. And like WWE was like restricting people of doing their own individual shit outside of the brand too. Like, I'm a big fan of #DeParty, fucking up, down, down, which is the DeParty consists of Tyler Breeze, Cesaro, Xavier Woods, and Adam Cole. Well, they formerly did until Adam Cole and Tyler left the brand. But they were restricting them of allowing to do their own individual thing. So, like, they could only upload on the up, down, down channel, and they would get fucking pissy when, like, AJ Styles and Adam Cole would stream on Twitch and shit. And so they wouldn't let them do it. And so that's what Adam Cole said. He was like, because Adam actually was going to stay and probably do that fucking horse shit managing thing. But, like, he said, like, this amount of money, and you just have to let me fucking stream on Twitch. Let me have my own brands and shit. Let me have my own independent thing outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, I think Tyler Breeze put it the best because he had said on a podcast the reason why they did that, like, that YouTube channel, up, down, down, was because he was like, we're expendable. Wrestlers are expendable. Eventually, our bodies are going to give up, and we're going to have to either we're going to quit or our fucking bodies are. And we're going to have to move on to something else. You know? So he's like, that's why they made these channels and all these, like, little separate things where they're playing video games and shit for fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have, like, that something to fall back on when their bodies give up on them eventually when they're done wrestling. But yeah, I'm fucking glad Adam Cole's with fucking AEW. Everybody was already fantasizing about the 100 fucking storylines like they could do over there now with all the wrestlers that they have. CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson, CM Punk versus Adam Cole, CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, fucking Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole, Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson versus, like, you could do fucking so many dream matches.
And there's still opportunities for other people to be added. Bray Wyatt's not signed anywhere yet. Neither is Braun Strowman.
Right.
So there's other potential for big names going and some awesome matches happening over there.
Right. And, like, all those guys have so much freedom to just go to other brands and shit, too. Like, they could go to Impact or fucking New Japan. Like, they could wrestle all over the world and do whatever the fuck they want.
I think it's pretty cool, too, watching Kenny Omega walk in with all these different types of titles.
Right.
Showing that he's, like, the best in the world. So that's pretty cool.
It builds up that character, like that gimmick. Not a gimmick because it's reality. He is the best wrestler in the world. But, yeah, so that's what AEW's doing. WWE's trying to do some shit with Brock Lesnar and Roman. I think people are starting to just kind of give up on WWE now, where they're just kind of like, all right, we have something that we know is gonna fucking deliver and be dope as fuck. We don't really need this anymore. So you either shock us and do something dope, or have
Who
fun
knows?
selling tickets.
They
dude.
may
They might
try
be
and shock
fine.
somebody and go right back into the Attitude Era.
Right.
And maybe they're holding off just for that right moment, and then boom, it's gonna come back, and everybody's
Just
gonna be
blood
like, "What
and gore
the fuck?"
and do whatever the moves they want.
Shock everybody. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them because NXT is so good. They put on great matches without needing to bleed or do all that gory shit. Like that Adam Cole versus fucking like Adam Cole send-off match, pretty much. It was Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. That fucking 2 out of 3 falls match was fucking fire. Like, fucking fire. Yeah, man, I don't know what fucking WWE needs to do, but AEW, like, a lot of people were fucking shitting on AEW, saying that they weren't going to amount to shit, and then now when they're getting all these wrestlers, it's looking a lot less like that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm back on wrestling. I'm fucking watching AEW every Wednesday, and it's this chair creaking. It's kind of pissing me off.
You ripped ass and shouldn't have covered on the chair.
Yeah. All right.
A lot of stuff's happened since we have actually had just one of ours. I don't know if you're ready to segue out, but if not, we go back.
No.
But
I'm done.
The Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. I think
we didn't talk about that either.
No, and I think I'll be the first person to say I hated on both the Paul brothers. I talked a lot of shit on some of the other podcasts, and you were trying to get me to understand. And man, I'll be the first one to admit that I was wrong. Like, Jake's legit, man. And I lost. I'm a big MMA guy, and I wanted MMA to beat these YouTubers trying to be boxers, but I lost a lot of respect for Tyron, the way he acted after the fight when Jake and Logan were paying a lot of respect to him.
Yeah.
Put a lot of money in his fucking pocket.
Hell yeah.
You know, and changed that dude's life.
Fuck yeah.
You know, really changed his life because he was getting paid fucking peanuts in the UFC, and then for him to come out there and just be disrespectful like that, like,
you fucking lost.
He lost, dude.
He lost.
At best, he maybe got 2 rounds.
In a lot of people would argue. I agree. In
Like,
my eyes, he only won 2 rounds.
Somebody was trying to say like 3, maybe 4, and I'm like, not even close.
No.
It's maybe 2. 1 for sure, where he almost dropped him, and that's it.
Right.
Literally, that's it. And the way he came at him, like, I just feel like he could have came at him differently. Like, let him pay respects. Like, their moms were in there hugging and shit. They just made both these families rich as fuck. And going back to, like, showing respect to Jake Paul, like, I really like the fact that Jake makes a shitload of money, and he has these boxers on his card, and he gives some of his purse to them.
Fuck yeah, he
like,
does.
Dude, like, I can't help but like the kid now.
Yeah,
you know? Like, he's just selling himself great.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hit it. I've always liked Logan. Jake was the one I fucking disliked, and after that event, I was like, it's really just fake.
Yeah, he's selling it.
He's selling it. He's not really a fucking dick. You know, like, he pretty much said it at the end, like, hey man, you know, all love to you. Mm-hmm. You're a great fucking fighter. You hit me with some good shots, giving him all this respect. Like,
yeah,
you know, all love to you. You know, I just gotta do what I gotta do to make this money. You know, gotta fucking sell the fight. You know what I mean? So he's like, I'm sorry if any of the shit talk offended you or whatever the fuck he said, and you said that. You're like, damn, like,
yeah.
And you said it to me after. You're like, that's the real Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Like, that kid's fucking smart. Like, he's fucking, he acts like a fucking fool and is a major dick. So 1, he could get fights, and 2, so he could sell tickets.
Yep. Smart business guy. And then, like, even when Woodley came up, even Logan jumped in and he was like, hey man, we're showing you respect.
Yeah.
Like, calm the fuck down, dude. Like, we're being respectful and you're being a fucking dick right now.
Right. Like, what I expected out of Tyron in that moment was to be like, you know, these guys gave me a good fight. I'm a little shocked, you know, respects to Jake, but we got to run that back. I feel like I won that fight. You're for sure giving me an instant rematch, and then get into that shit and try to sell the next fight. Yeah. But, like, give your respects first. But he jumped right onto the gun.
Or even at least go back and say, hey, you know what? I got to go back to the drawing board. I got to watch the fight and see what happened, what went wrong. And if you'd have went back and actually watched it, like, honestly, you probably would have been like, oh, fuck, I did get my ass kicked. You know, like,
right.
I don't know. I lost a lot of respect for his attitude and his demeanor.
And one thing that pisses me off with the people who watched the fight, the people who had Tyron winning like a couple of rounds or a few rounds, like 3, 4, are I just don't know if they really know fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I watched it wrong. I don't know. But if you watch it, somebody pressuring somebody and moving forward on somebody doesn't mean they're winning the fight.
No.
Nor does it mean they're winning the round. That's
Mm-mm.
why. That's what made fighters like fucking Anderson Silva famous and Israel Adesanya famous. Is they are counter strikers. Their whole style is to back up and wait for the moment to fucking clock you.
Yep.
And that's how Jake was fighting.
Yeah.
You know, he was on his back foot. He was going in and out, right? He ate probably 2 solid punches the entire fight, and the rest were kind of like missed hooks or missed fucking jabs or jabs that barely landed. Like, that's it. Like, Logan landed more in the rounds. Like, I would argue that the rounds were close. After 4, they were pretty close, but you could tell that Jake did more to win them.
So I watched a lot of MMA and I watched a lot of boxing especially boxing growing up with Julio Cesar Chavez and Oscar De La Hoya, pronounced Sweet Pea Whitaker, was one of my favorites. Tapia, and there is a difference in the sports in the style. And I will honestly say that Jake Paul boxed in that fight, and Tyron Woodley just looked for a haymaker. He just looked for a knockout punch,
right?
Drove forward and was just trying to get that punch. And if he'd have actually learned boxing, and I thought he would have training with Mayweather, if he'd have just thrown some feints, to throw him off, he probably would have got one of those haymakers. But instead, he's fucking cocking back, way back here, and of course Jake, who's been boxing and training boxing, taking it serious, he sees it.
Right.
So he's going up, and this haymaker's just hitting his arm, and it's not getting nowhere.
Right, and he's worked on his reaction time, obviously, because he worked with that girl who was fighting in the co-main.
Yeah.
They've been light sparring together, and since she's smaller and she's a fucking boxer, knows how to throw a punch, she's throwing faster,
quick,
stronger strikes. So he's already prepared on his reaction time and his head movement and whatnot. And the argument people said that really pissed me off with that fight, and I don't know if this is something that all mixed martial artists knows, but as far as my experience in mixed martial arts goes, and as far as my experience in the fighting world, from my experience as someone who's fought, people try to say that Tyron was controlling the ring. No. To me, as somebody who did mixed martial arts before, I could be wrong by other people who are more experienced. I don't know. But in my eyes, that's pressuring someone is not controlling the ring. Controlling the ring is making someone fight your fight, and Tyron was not fighting his fight.
So I'll give my opinion of controlling the ring. Controlling the ring is cutting the corners. If he's going this way, you cut him off. You cut him off this way, and you try to corner him to fight you. Right. That's controlling the ring. Tyron, that's again, like you were saying, this is just my opinion. We could be wrong. Woodley was chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't controlling the ring. He was chasing him, looking for a knockout punch.
Right.
That's not controlling the ring. He's just chasing him.
Right. In my eyes, controlling the ring is making someone fight your fight. Israel
100%.
Adesanya, when he runs away from takedowns or avoids takedowns, and he controls the range on his back foot, he's controlling the ring. When he's controlling his range, he's controlling the distance. That's controlling the ring.
Yeah. Controlling
the ring is not marching somebody down, swinging and missing, and just chasing them around the ring. You're fighting their fight. How is that? How are you in control?
Yeah.
When you're fighting their fight.
And I honestly don't think the rematch is going to happen. And if it does, I don't think it's going to gain as much steam as the first one did. I don't think as many people are going to pay to watch it, because we all watched him lose already, and then and then act a fool afterwards like he was the shit and that he won. And it's
you didn't. You really didn't.
And then the fights that are happening right now, probably during this podcast as we're recording, Tito Ortiz against Anderson Silva in a boxing match, and then Evander Holyfield against Vitor Belfort. It'd be great.
What's your picks for that?
Anderson Silva.
I have Silva winning.
Because Tito's just too stiff because of his neck issues, but he's got a lot of power still, I think.
And Anderson still moves like he's young.
Yeah, and then I think Evander Holyfield is going to beat Vitor.
I think so too.
He's just too big, and he's a great boxer.
Yeah, that's his world.
Yeah,
I agree with you. But to kind of go back to the Jake Paul thing real quick, he was going to fight Fury Not Tyson Fury.
No, but he's related to him.
He is related to the real Tyson Fury.
Yeah, it's like his nephew or some shit. Or cousin
Yeah,
or
something like that. Just a fucking ripped version. Like I saw memes where they're like, "No way these two are related," and it was like that fool who's like fucking ripped and built like a tank, and then fucking Tyson's fat ass. So I think that's what Jake does next. I think he fights Fury.
But is there money in that?
Yeah, you could sell that. If
So-
you're Jake, I think you could sell that. You think
Oh yeah, Jake can sell
world
anything,
class.
but
This is the world class boxing champion, Tyson Fury's nephew or cousin, whatever the fuck he is, and I'm gonna box him.
and he's a legit boxer.
And he's a
now.
legit boxer, like
So
all of
he's
you've been
still doing
asking.
steps closer and closer to
Yep.
big. Yeah.
This is what you guys have been asking for. We're gonna fight him now. You do the shit talking thing, you sell the fight. It won't be like fucking. No, I think it'll be bigger. If he can make that fight against a retired Tyron Woodley, who had been on a losing streak, if he can make that gain a lot of traction and get a lot of money, he can make an actual person in his prime.
And it'll
Actually
probably be
boxing.
a good Showtime fight on Showtime.
Right. So I think
Like a
he'll sell
legit
that fight for
boxing
sure.
match.
To answer your question, I think he will for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess I meant like I'm sure he could sell it. I guess I meant if would it be as big as a spectacle? You know, because it was the MMA versus this YouTuber type of thing,
right.
and now it's like a boxer, legit boxer,
Yeah, I think.
and it's just going into just boxing.
Yeah, maybe not as big. It'll be big though, because
It'd be
people
good
want to
for him.
see. Yeah, people want to see Jake lose.
Yeah.
So anytime he fights with his name, the people who love him will watch, and then the people who fucking hate him will absolutely watch.
Yeah, and he's still pushing for like McGregor. And honestly, now, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but if he were to fight McGregor, he'd beat McGregor.
I think he could.
I think,
Yeah,
I think he would beat
could.
McGregor because he's so much bigger. Like McGregor struggles to make 170,
Right.
and like Jake's losing weight to make a catch weight of what were they at 190,
Right.
something like that. Like he's gonna power and dominate over a smaller McGregor.
Right, and people are gonna say we're fucking nuts for that, but I'm gonna die on that hill with you.
Yeah.
This would be the perfect time to fight Conor.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming off of 2 L's where he got fucking bodied by Dustin Poirier. I don't give a fuck if his ankle weren't to get
was
broke.
gonna
His
lose.
fucking face would have been by the end of the
He'd have
fight.
lost the next round.
He would have gotten fucking pummeled. Dustin Poirier beat the fucking horse shit out of him twice. He's coming off of an L.
Just remake the money.
Yeah,
I think
he's
we've-
got his jaw's not as fucking strong as it used to be.
And it's proven that McGregor now, yes, he's a mixed martial artist. He knows a lot, but he wants to scrap. He wants to throw hands. And Dustin Poirier is a legit mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
And he's even said, I will take what's given to me. If the takedown's there, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
McGregor's proven he's not good on the ground.
Right.
So maybe McGregor just goes into boxing. If you want to just throw hands, there's your sport. Throw hands.
Yep.
You know, but Jake's too big for him.
Yeah.
And Jake's got way better boxing. I hate to say it, but he would beat.
Yeah, and I think especially with more experience now. Before
Yeah.
when he was saying it, you were like, dude, you didn't. Who the
Yeah.
fuck you fought Ben Askren's fat ass? You
Yeah.
fucking weirdo. You ain't gonna beat Conor McGregor. Now it's more believable.
Yeah, he'd beat McGregor.
Obviously we're not saying that Jake beat the fucking horseshit out of Tyron Woodley.
He boxed him.
He boxed him, right?
Yeah, and he outboxed him.
He outboxed him. There was obviously some things he needed to work on, some things maybe to sharpen up on, but he's not, fully developed. He's still young in his boxing career.
And that's what's cool, too, because he still got a lot of potential.
Mhm.
He's not taking a lot of damage to his head.
No.
He's not. He's doing really well. And if he continues with this, if he wants, he could have a legit boxing career.
Right.
He's still young enough to keep on learning and get better.
You mentioned the shots to the head thing. I also want to mention that punch that knocked him to the ropes. It was people overgassed that punch.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean shot.
It wasn't a clean shot. If anything, it was him pushing him against the ropes.
Yeah.
He wasn't hurt.
He
could have been
he
hurt.
did hold on to the ropes, and they should have called that
Right.
because it did kind of hold him up. But you could also have said it wasn't a legit shot. He was pushed and he lost his balance.
And he was trying to get it.
Yeah.
Catches.
You're not
yeah.
supposed to grab onto the ropes though, but
Right.
Yeah.
It was him trying to get balance back. It wasn't him fucking knocked
Yeah.
unconscious.
because he recovered
co-
pretty quick.
He recovered quick. It didn't hurt him. It was more of a push and throwing him off balance with the power.
Because Tyron still has a lot of power.
Right, and it
For his
didn't hit
age.
him flush.
Yeah.
So people overgassed that punch way too hard.
Yeah.
And that's all the people who don't know what mixed martial arts is and what fighting is.
You know what made me laugh too is because you kind of fucked up the fight for me. Because we were watching it, we're all into it, and then you brought up the whole fucking mismatch of the gloves and the trunks,
yeah,
and I could not stop looking. I was like, "Fuck, that is ugly." Yeah, he should have had different color boxing gloves, and I kept thinking of it, and that's what I would focus on. And something happened, and you guys go, "Oh," and I'm like, "Wait, huh? Oh, fuck!" And I was watching the TV, but I just wasn't paying attention.
For context, for people who don't know, Tyron Woodley was wearing like colorful trunks
like a
and
pink
like
and
shoes,
blue. Yeah,
like
nice,
like
cool
a
outfit.
pink or blue, and then he had like black and white gloves.
Yeah, like they didn't
completely didn't match at all.
Yeah. And Jake looked good, dude. He had the fucking the lights on his trunks where it was saying his name, the fucking LED lights. Like he was fucking styling and profiling.
Yeah, and when he walked into the ring, that shirt with all of like the different jerseys from Cleveland.
Yeah,
that was
dope,
hard
dude.
as fuck, dude. I would take one of those from
I wonder
LA.
if he auctioned it or something.
Right. Yeah, like that was a fucking cool fit. Like you had to give respect to that, dude.
Yeah,
he came
out looking fresh, man.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, it does look ugly.
Right. It looks fucking dumb.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
But to close out the Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley thing, what pissed me off was Tyron, when he pushed him off balance, he didn't hurt Jake. Jake wasn't hurt.
No.
He just got pushed off balance.
He wasn't spaghetti leg, nothing.
No, he felt the impact. Sure. Obviously, it was a hard punch, but he wasn't hurt. But what pisses me off is Tyron not rushing him after he threw him off balance.
Yeah, well, it might have been too because Tyron. I'm just gonna say Woodley. I always feel like I'm saying his name wrong, but maybe he realized too, like that wasn't a clean shot. I didn't get him.
Right.
So he didn't want to rush in and get cracked himself.
Right.
So maybe he even realized, and he was just trying to live off the hype train. Like, yeah, I fucking dazed him. Like, even you knew you didn't. That's why you didn't rush in for the kill. Right. There was no kill there to happen.
Right. I would have rushed him like off balance. You got clean free shots right there. And
he was chasing him the whole fight. So when he's off balance, he can't run. So that was your chance to get some good clean shots and some uppercuts. And I wish that's again back to that. He should have worked his feints, done some feints. He wasn't doing no uppercuts. He wasn't doing no combos. He was just he did a few, but he was just really looking for that strong overhand right. Like he wasn't boxing, dude, and that's why Jake beat him.
Yeah.
Jake outboxed him and won.
Yeah, and even people I don't know if the MMA world thought he won, but everybody on Twitter was like, that was a split?
Yeah.
What? Like Kamaru Usman and Daniel Cormier and Aljamain Sterling all tweeted, that was a decision? Don't get that tattoo, bruh. Do not get that tattoo. Like, all of them were saying that. Like, that was a split? What the fuck? So
one
I think
judge was
nobody thought. Yeah, I don't think anybody thought
somebody was fucking drunk in that fucking judge booth.
Yeah.
So, do you think Jake's done? Because, like, they were arguing for a little bit. They said they were going to get the tattoo and all that. And then a few days later, Jake Paul tweeted, hey, I'm a retired boxer. Like, is he done? Like, what is he?
No, I think he tweeted just recently, out of retirement.
Oh, did he?
I think he was doing that to fuck around.
Yeah, probably because Woodley now is thinking about it and he's like, I don't want to get the fucking tattoo. Then you're not going to get your rematch, dude. Be a man of your word.
Yeah. You're not going to get your rematch. One, you don't deserve it. You lost.
Mm-hmm.
And two, you're not going to get that fucking I Love Jake Paul tattoo.
Just fucking get it, dude. Like, fuck it, dude. Like, it's a cool story. Like, where'd you get that when you're fucking old and you're telling your grandkids, oh, that was the time I got fucking $2 million. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, why do you say I love Jake Paul?
I got a free tattoo.
$2 million. Fucking $2 million, dude.
Yeah.
Free tattoo and $2 million. Fuck it.
Yeah, so that's
It's like that one guy back in the day for Laker playoff tickets. He got tattooed on his forehead. I slept with Shaq on his fucking forehead. Yeah.
What the fuck? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I think he ended up being too. It was for Power 106, and I think he ended up being like a host on there for a while. They called him Tattoo and stuff. And I met him at one of my buddy's clubs. My buddy owned a club in Anaheim, and he was there, and I met him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just heavy set dude. I slept with Shaq on his forehead.
What the fuck?
For playoff tickets.
What a weirdo.
So if he could do that on his forehead, on your fucking calf, get I love Jake Paul. Fuck it, dude.
Right?
And then the part of the deal was you couldn't cover it up. I would just put like a lot of shit around it, so that way it, you know what I mean? Like it took away from that.
Or you like fucking just cross out the love, and then replace like above it do like fucking I don't know like hate or something.
Yeah, and just fucking wear pants all the time.
Do a spin off of it or something.
Just fucking wear pants. He said it had to be somewhere visible when you have shorts. Okay, well, I wear pants.
Right. Oh,
well, you know, get
fucking
paid.
Jake earned his respect. He earned my respect.
Mine too.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say this. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he does next.
Yeah, for sure. Like we were just saying, he's young. He's got a bright future. Once again, I apologize if I know they're not listening, but he proved me wrong, man. He's a legit dude. He's doing the right things. He's training hard. He gives a fuck. He likes the sport.
Yeah.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I was going to talk about, another thing we didn't talk about either, I want to give my review of something after this. We'll talk about movies a little bit.
Okay.
But before I forget, Logan was on that desk with that one dude, and they verbally agreed to an MMA fight. You remember that? He was on the desk with somebody. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And he was like, hey, like, me and you in the octagon?
Oh,
he was like, fuck yeah.
He was a Bellator fighter, I think.
Right. You did. You said he was a Bellator fighter.
Yeah. And I think he said something about it, yeah. But there's no money in it for Logan because MMA doesn't pay fighters like boxing
Right.
does.
He'll do it for fun, though, I think.
Yeah. Or maybe I would just tell him, like, you know what, dude, you want to? Like, we'll do it in a private gym.
Yeah, right?
Or on my own organization, like, well, they could almost start their own organization, but, and then pay the fighters whatever they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to seeing if that happens. But to change the subject, let's talk about movies. I fucking love movies. We don't talk about movies enough on this fucking podcast. I just seen another good one, and he's gonna give me a lot of bad looks for what I'm about to say. But that new movie, Malignant, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That just came out yesterday, September 10th. Malignant. It's on HBO Max, I believe.
Yeah.
And hear me out, is a cult classic of this generation.
Well, I can't really say anything because I fell asleep like 15 minutes into it.
You want to watch it again tonight?
I'm going to end up trying to convince Mom to let Derek watch it with me because I don't think it's that bad. But we'll probably watch it like during the day or something.
Right.
And I really can't give an honest assessment because
Right.
I only have the beginning. At the beginning, there were some things that were irritating me about it. We kind of talked about it.
Right.
And then I'd randomly wake up on some certain parts, and I'm like, oh, shit, that's crazy. And you guys would, like, laugh and say something. And then I'd fucking pass back out. And then I wake up again, and I was like, oh, shit. And, like, I was trying to act like I was watching it. And,
I got to remember, so I'm gonna tiptoe with this one. I want to make sure I try to be as vague as possible because that movie has a fucking crazy twist. That's all I'll say.
I did see that.
It has a few crazy twists throughout this movie. It's a cult classic. If you're looking to get scared, this is not your movie. But if you're looking for something original, a horror movie that's so original and so unique, I think this movie will blow your mind. If you take it for what it is. I think one thing that it's a movie that people either hated or loved. And my sister Lizzie, yesterday, she was like, oh, it was good. And then this morning she had posted on her Instagram story, the more that I fucking sit on it, the more I love the movie. And, like, if you don't love it right out the gate, sit with it. Think about everything that happened in the movie. Think about all the concepts and all the ideas and all the scenes. The more you think about it, it becomes a movie where you're just like, damn, that's going to be a cult classic. Just like Get Out of this generation and Us of this generation, fucking Conjuring are cult classics to the future of the next.
I wouldn't even say they're cult classics. I would actually say they're legit classics. Cult classics are like movies that didn't make it big. Like Get Out and Us were actually big movies. Like I wouldn't call those cult classics. Those are like
right. That's a good point.
Big, what do you call them? Blockbusters.
Blockbusters, right?
Yeah.
So let's just use the word classic.
Candyman, man.
I can't wait for that. I heard that shit was fire. But this movie, the soundtrack was iffy with me at some points. It was a little hyperbolic sometimes. It was a little over the top sometimes. But there was some scenes when you, how do I say this with being vague? It's a great slasher, first off.
Like a suspense slasher.
It's a suspense slasher. I wouldn't consider it I think it squeaks enough to be considered horror because there were some scenes that were freaky or scary, and then it hits a point where it's all storylines, and you're like more in, like you're more locked in for the story rather than to get scared. There's a point where you stop being scared, and then the rest of the movie is just like, oh, I wonder what it could be, and you're trying to figure it out.
And that's the suspense part where it leaves you on your
I think it had enough scary scenes and enough scary moments to classify as horror-esque, if you will. Horror-esque. I wouldn't say it's a horror classic. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. All I know is this movie is going to change the fucking spectrum of horror movies. And I was telling Lizzie about this, and she was like, it was good. And I was like, what I love about this movie, what I love about movies and that Jordan Peele makes and all these guys is we always bitch and complain about movies nowadays, horror movies specifically, not being original.
Yeah.
So I just have a love for original movies. I have a bias for original movies. When I see something unique and original that I haven't seen before, I just automatically have a bias. So this could be just me being biased and being excited to have something original and unique. But it was so original and unique. The twist was so unpredictable. Like, me, my sister, and my dad. My dad fell asleep at a certain point, but the three of us had a piece to the puzzle of what the plot twist was.
Yeah.
And then if you put the pieces together, that's what the plot twist was. We didn't all have it full, but we all had the different pieces, and we didn't realize all we had to do was put the pieces of the puzzle together, and that was the plot twist at the end.
Yeah, I had just watched the preview, and I started naming shit. I was like, I think this, and that. And
right.
that was it.
And then we all ended up being somewhat right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie, I suggest you check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to go back and check it out.
It's a movie I highly suggest because one of its originality, the fact that it could very well be a classic. It's one of James Wan's best works. And it's the originality, the plot twist, the concept is so fucking crazy to me.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that I'm going to watch for the second time and enjoy even more the second time knowing what happens.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm going to catch on to a lot more things.
I think that's a good point that you had brought up last night after I woke up and watched the end with you guys is when you watch it the second time and you kind of catch on to the small, subtle things and you're like, oh man, that makes it that much more better. You're going to end up liking it even more.
Right.
I'm sure.
Right. It's a movie that, and like one complaint that the three of us had, but I had rationalized it like this. So we had complained that like, oh, there was a few loose ends. There wasn't some certain plots that we wish would have been used to its potential. Like it kind of ends with what it ends with, and then like it doesn't really like with certain like side characters, like or like whatever, just smaller things, not really significant. Like the ending didn't have enough loose ends to where it ruined the movie. But we were all like, I wish you would have like put this together, explained this a little bit more. But it's like, the way I had described it was like, these, artists with their movies, they love when people express how they feel about their art.
Yeah, the fact that they kept us talking about it, or you guys talking about it after the fact, and using your own imagination,
right?
Is what makes it great.
It's like when someone paints a painting and they show people, they love seeing what people think of it. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like when you how they're if you go to a psychiatrist or whatever, and then they're like doing their evaluation of you, and they show you paintings, they're like, hey, what do you see? And everybody sees something different. Some person could be like, oh, it looks like a butterfly. Another person looks like, well, it looks like a boat, and that's the reflection of the water if you turn it sideways. Or, you know what I mean? It's everybody's own interpretation of what they're seeing, and I think that's what's great about movies is we all have our own input. We have, we're not no fucking great fucking critics or anything, but we love horror movies. We love movies in general. We were talking about fucking the Doc Holliday the other day and Wyatt Earp and Tombstone. Like we just have a love for movies, so our interpretation of certain things is different. And I think the fact that we deep dive for especially for Xander, for him to say it's a great movie, I suggest you guys watch it because we are very particular on our types of movies, and we're very we're very strict on how we grade movies too. Right.
And Lizzie had said it was perfect. She was like, the more I think about it, the more I realize how fucking genius that movie was. Because when you think about it, it is fucking genius. There are some like things in the movie as far as like scares or something where they seem like they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
And Lizzie was like, it was a little corny sometimes. But I was like, when you take it for what it is and then you consider the plot and what's going on in the movie, it becomes cooler than it is corny.
Yeah.
We're just like,
And then,
oh, that's fucking dope.
well, that's where the cult classic comes from. You know, if you look at Little Shop of Horrors, like that's a weird fucking movie, but it's a cult classic. People love that movie, but it's a mix of a comedy, it's a mix of a musical, it's a mix of horror. Like it's a crazy ass movie, and that's a cult classic. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy to be a cult classic. You just have to like Xander said, go into it with an open mind and take it for what it is. Don't try to overanalyze it. Just enjoy the story writing and enjoy the movie.
Right. I think the people who hate that movie are people who just don't enjoy movies and want either everything explained to them, or they just don't really appreciate, writing.
Yeah. If you're like he was saying earlier, if you're going in there just to be scared on horror movies, it's not for you. Like, listen to the story.
Right. I think what a lot of people that hated it are probably the same people who really think The Nun's an amazing horror movie.
Yeah, that shit was stupid, I thought.
Right, because they go into it wanting to get scared and nothing else. They don't care about the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those people I just, like, kind of despise. Where it's just like, dude, this is art.
Yeah.
You know? Like, this
There you go. Look at it as art.
It's literally art. Like, so it's somebody expressing a very fucked up part of their brain, but they're expressing themselves through this movie.
Yeah.
Through the writing and the idea of that, I don't know how the fuck you come up with these ideas. Like me and Lizzie were talking. Me and Lizzie were talking. We're like, that movie came out of someone's head, dude. Somebody came up with that shit, and you're just like, dude, like to have that fucked up of a mind. Like Stephen King, for an example, that man must have went through some fucking shit growing up.
Or Wes Craven.
Wes Craven especially.
Every one of Nightmare on Elm Street were nightmares he actually had. He's dreamed that shit. He didn't just come up with an idea. Like, those were his dreams that he put into Freddy Krueger.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to have the fucking dreams. Like,
fuck no.
Before not knowing who Freddy is, and then having that dream, that's fucking scary.
Right.
And he brought him to life. But yeah, to your point, like, having that type of sick personality, I guess. Or...
Yeah, we talk about time travel and what we would have loved to see if we could see anything in the past. I would love to see the day he woke up from that nightmare and thought, what if he was real? And then he wrote it and he was like, this is the greatest fucking idea I've ever come up with.
Yeah. Or what if he, like, it could have went 50-50. He could have woke up and went crazy after that. I would just be like, oh my God, I literally don't want to sleep again.
Right.
Like, I'm fucking scared.
Right.
You know? But instead he brought it out.
Yep.
It's like the Marvel What Ifs.
Right.
Another one that I always think is really fucking cool is my all-time favorite Stephen King story is Pet Sematary. I love the original movie. I love the book. And that book was almost not published. Like, Stephen didn't even want to put it out there. Mm-hmm. He had wrote it, and he thought, this is kind of borderline. This is too much. And he put it in his shelf, in one of his cupboards or whatever. And he had it there for months. And then he was coming up on ending a contract with one of his publishers. And they're like, hey, before you leave, you owe us one more book. And he was like, I'm not writing for you guys no more. And they're like, well, it's part of your contract. You can't write for anybody else if you don't give us one more book. Mm-hmm. So he was like, fuck it, I'm just going to give you this one. And that turned out to be Pet Sematary. He pulled it out of his fucking cupboard that he never intended for it to be published, and became one of the greatest fucking stories of in my eyes, that he's ever written. And
hearing that makes you think, like, how many ideas did I come up with that could have fucking changed my life if I would have acted on it?
100%. You never know, dude.
Right. So that's why I've been trying to, when I come up with something that I think is genius, like I did yesterday, which is hence why I posted that on my Instagram story. I came up with an idea that I really liked, with concepts that I really liked. And then I was like, you know what? Like, this could be the story that fucking would be equivalent to fucking Wes Craven. I was like, Freddy Krueger should just be with me.
Yeah. You never know.
Right? You never know. This is probably going to fade off, and I'll probably never touch whatever I'm going to work on ever again. But if I actually do, like, try to commit writing something onto it every day, because I plan on, the idea is a comic. I came up with a plot for a comic. And like the plan is to work on it at least once, even if I'm typing a word every single day for a while. But yeah, it just makes you think, how many fucking ideas did I have that could have changed my life if I would have just fucking acted on it?
You never know.
Right.
So they always say, just act on it. If nothing happens, nothing happens. Nothing was happening before anyways.
Right.
So why not try?
It makes you want to work on you had brought up your book that you've been talking about for a while, actually. that you were working on that has some pretty cool concepts. Like, it makes you want to work on stuff like, when you have ideas where you're just like, that's right. What if this is the fucking gold mine and I'm just sitting on this bitch like it's Pet Cemetery?
I just get fucking life gets in the way, and you always feel like you never have enough time in the day.
You know what else I struggle
to
with
your point,
too?
just fucking write a few words, man.
Every day, just write a few words. Yep. You know what else I think about too is I just spaced out.
You got backspace, son.
I got fucking backspaced. Holy shit! I had a great point.
You just got backspace, son. Shout out, Ronnie. Thanks for the fucking meme, dude.
What the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. It just makes you want to, work on shit, like ideas that you've had.
You never know, yeah.
Yeah, because you never know. Like, this could be the fucking thing that makes me a famous actor, or this could be the thing that makes me a famous writer. This could get me a job on a blockbuster movie that'll fucking live on forever.
It could just be one, and then someone says, hey, this is so great. I'm going to pay you to sit at home for the next 6 months and fucking write me something. Come up with something for me.
Right.
That's the job right there. That's a dream job.
Right. And, like, it could just be we're both working on, like, stories. We both, like, whatever. This could be our fucking calling, and we never knew.
Never knew it.
Because we've always, since I was a kid, since as long as I can remember, we've always watched movies, been like, dude, if we would have had that concept, we would have wrote a better story than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
With WWE, we could write better stories than that.
Yeah.
I could come up with a better horror movie than that shit.
Yep.
This could be our fucking calling, and we just don't know yet. But I don't know. We'll see. It makes me want to work on my ideas more. Even if I give up on a few, just like whenever I have it, just fucking piece it together little by little every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I have a problem focusing on one thing.
Yeah, so do I.
I have so many aspirations. Like, throughout this past year, I've fantasized being an actor, being a musician, a recording artist, being a streamer, being a fucking content creator, being an entertainer, being a fucking, whatever. So many things, right? So then why not just work on all of them?
Yeah.
Do something for all of them. Fuck it. I got the time.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
sure.
I don't know. This one, it felt lackluster, but it was a decent one.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything
spectacular.
What
I think it is too is when every time we've had a guest on, it's been a banger.
Right.
So like it kind of it's hard to live up to those.
Right.
Because those were shows, and these are our normal conversations that we have every day.
Right.
So like to get the entertainment value is tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't hold these ones where it's just me and you to a high standard. You know?
This is just us talking our personality and our opinions on certain things.
Right. I want to talk about movies a lot and music a lot in the future.
Yeah, for
sure. Some shit that everybody
enjoys in some way.
Because I know it's a little bit hard to listen in on a podcast talking about wrestling when you don't watch wrestling, or talking about boxing when you've never seen a match, or talking about football when you've not seen a game. You know what I mean?
Football's back.
Right. Fucking we're recording this on Saturday. Tomorrow's fucking Sunday night, baby.
Let's do it.
All day of fucking football tomorrow. I'm about to beat the fucking brakes off of my fucking aunt. I'm about to beat the horse shit out of her in fantasy this week. She's a fucking 30-point plus fucking dub. Just fucking Stephon Diggs is gonna drop 30. Justin Jefferson's gonna catch 4 touchdowns. Beat the fucking horse shit off of her.
Speak it into existence.
Or with the way the world treats me, it's not gonna happen. I will never beat her in my life.
And she's tough at the beginning of the year, so.
Dude, we berated her about picking Brady. Motherfucker dropped 30 points yesterday.
He went off,
not yesterday, dude. On fucking Thursday. He fucking dropped like 4 touchdowns. I was like, what the fuck? Tom Brady? Who would have fucking picked Tom Brady?
Yeah, he's old. He's going to have his down year,
Yeah, but kind of hoping that Stephon Diggs and Justin Jefferson by themselves beats the fucking brakes off of her. I got Aaron Rodgers and shit, so if I fucking lose, I'm going to be fucking upset. Like, I should be playoff guaranteed with this lineup.
But what if it's like a high-scoring game? Like, you guys have the 2 highest scores for the whole week.
Right.
You can't really
say. Be upset, I would have beaten everybody else.
Exactly.
Right, so we'll see what happens.
So, but on that, again, like, great things coming for us and Stuck in an Elevator. different context, fucking content. We got the fantasy thing going. Your editing's fucking funny as shit and dope. So I'm excited for that.
By the way, that's the kid at the beginning who did the voice acting on that. You know me.
The
Yes,
voice
sir.
actor.
Yes, sir. You know me. With this microphone too.
Yeah. Legit.
It literally
fucking
made
mic.
for everything. This microphone was made for voice acting, singing, and fucking podcasting. Literally could do whatever I want with it. Fucking dope. Shout outs to Gabe again. Also shout outs to Gabe and fucking Foo for agreeing and helping us with the the head versus head game of the first game of the week. Thanks
Yep.
to you guys for taking times out of your days for us to interview you, to do that fucking video. I was really proud of it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a great tone setter for the rest of the fantasy football season. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at Xander, TIS Xander on Twitter and on Twitch. You can follow me at XanderMV3 on Instagram, which I'm super active on. You can reach out to me if you want to talk to me at all. You can reach out to me on any of those. I'm pretty sure all my DMs are opened on all of those. I check all of them. I get pissed off when I see the one next to messages, so I make sure to read everything.
Yeah,
that
so do I.
get.
It's like a fucking tick.
It's a fucking
I hate it.
pet peeve with mine.
Me too.
Or if you want to reach out, you could email me at xandermv08@gmail.com. Follow the podcast, Stuck in the Elevator Podcast, on TikTok and on Instagram. I'm going to stop shouting out the TikTok because it's safe to say we're not going to be using that shit. SIAE Podcast on Twitter. If you want to reach out to him, he runs the Instagram account of Stuck in the Elevator Podcast on Instagram. Again, Stuck in the Elevator Podcast on Instagram. Every Monday, check us out. Like, comment, and then Fantasy Football Wednesdays. Every fucking Wednesday, you get content from the fantasy football season, whether it's a recap or whether it's you get a game of the week every week. So you can see people shit talk each other every week.
So they're going to shit talk, but they're also going to talk about the matchup. So if you have your fantasy league and you may have one of the players we're talking about, it may help you in setting your lineup.
Giving you a second opinion, dog.
Yep.
So, game of the weeks every week on Wednesdays. Fantasy football interviews on Wednesdays. Just in general, you get fantasy football, Stuck in the Elevator Fantasy every Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again, everybody. Shout out to all the people who supported. Hugest shout out to Gabe for being a massive supporter of this podcast, giving us a stable fucking audio. Because the fucking biggest issue with this podcast was this fucking guy was carrying the show for fucking 19 weeks now. We've been running this podcast for 19 weeks. This motherfucker right here, the tank, the Audio Technica, fucking has been running this bitch for fucking 19 weeks, and now he's got his fucking brother in arms. This is like the Shield reuniting, bro. Like,
yes,
this is like the fucking Hardy Boys coming together. Like, this fucking microphone is going to take the weight off this guy's shoulders, and hopefully this fucking podcast just fucking skyrockets. It sounds professional as ever. Shout outs against the Gabe to contributing the fucking quality that we've been looking for fucking 19 weeks. Now I won't have to.
Weeks.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah. Fuck.
So finally, I won't have to do much editing. I'm looking at the fucking bar right here. Anytime I stop talking, there's just a straight line when there used to be just static and shit. So it's just like I don't have to do shit now. I could just fucking put the audio together and fucking upload it and don't have to do shit to it. So shout outs again to Gabe for being one of the bigger contributors to this podcast, providing an amazing episode.
Love you, dog.
And providing the audio. Forever grateful to my Nino. Fantasy football on Wednesdays. Shout out everything, and that's that.
See you then.